Hey guys. Hey guys. Check out my Benelli Supernova. Let's see if you can tell here. There we go. Alright, you can sort of tell right here. Oh, I see. I have the stock shut here, so. Benelli. I don't know if you guys can tell. Anyway. That's my Benelli Supernova. It's my favorite shotgun. It's my first shotgun, full-length shotgun. And I got it because I was, there's this place called thecorneredcat.com, which I highly recommend to anyone who's new to firearms, because she really explains like the basic rules and handling of firearms very, very well, and it's completely free of testosterone. So it's really a great resource, and I learned a lot from her. But there was another article on this site talking about how when you let's say you're in a home defense situation, it's called handguns versus long guns, and many times if you're in a self-defense situation, you may want to stake out a position and just defend it, rather than go wandering through your house trying to find an assailant. See, so you just stake, you call the police, and then you just hold tight. And in that case, wouldn't you rather have a long gun, the article talked about? Because if you're defending a stationary position, that's going to give you better firepower, and you're going to be able to, like, hold it better. So I was thinking about that, and I was like, huh, that's a good point. Plus, I was surrounded by, people who were, like, really not very pleased with me in a sort of a vulnerable living condition, this garage. And so I thought that might be a good idea. I already had 2 handguns, but, besides Dad had said I went well with shotguns. I don't know why. He said, I think you and shotguns go well together. So I went and I got this. I was looking and I found this Benelli Supernova, which I just love the shape and the color of. It was relatively inexpensive. It's very durable. Has very, made of very good composite materials in some places for like bird hunting and duck hunting. It's the only one I have that can fire 3.5-inch Magnum shells, which I've never fired because I didn't want to break my back, but I hope to work up to it someday. So, I got this gun and I was getting it, and while I was trying to get it, because you see I had to get the money for it, and fortunately I wasn't paying my landlady rent at that time because, she had been seriously disrespected me, and so it turned out that I didn't need to pay her rent because I was living in an illegal habitat. Imagine. So I stopped. And, this didn't go well with her because she was a born-again Christian who used to be Jewish. And she used to be a ballet dancer. And she used to be very famous. But she wouldn't say who she used to be. And now she was digging out of garbage cans while at the same time owning $1 million house in the middle of Koreatown, which she couldn't afford to pay the mortgage for, which is why she was renting out to, jerks like you and me. So, I was there, and I've been paying my rent and helping to support her until I learned that she and everyone else thought I was a dick, and then I stopped. Plus, the city got caught, and now she has to pay their fines, too. But anyway, so, there was a time when we used to, interact a little better, and I remember one time I went over to her, talked to her, and I noticed she always used to stand at her front door, or lean on her front door because she couldn't stand, and would just watch the neighborhood and the cars go by and yell and talk with people as they went by. And I happened to notice one day as I went there that above her door she had written in red, like it was written in blood, "This house is protected by the blood of Jesus H. Christ." And I was like, wow. Okay, I was really shocked by that because I never seen anything quite that primitive before in my urban upbringing. And I was like, damn, okay. But I didn't say anything because, it's her, whatever, okay. Well, anyway, when we started getting on the outs, because, you see, we really liked each other, but we were completely incompatible on just about every level. And so at one point, in a fit of exasperation, I just said, look, why don't we just not speak to each other anymore? We'll just pass each other by. We'll say hello. I'll pay you rent, and we'll all be okay. She said, sure. And so that seemed to go great for about, but then I don't think she expected it to last. And about 9 months to 12 months later, she seemed to get kind of sick of it. And then she started, like, like accusing me of false things, and like, really ragging on me, and talking shit about me in front of others, and, and on and on. So anyway, one day, I remember one day she, she was telling someone else on the phone, because everyone could hear everything everyone said everywhere at this place. It was part of its magic. And, she was saying, oh, you should see when he gets mad. He gets so mad. There's this pale darkness that descends over the whole property of evil and hate and darkness. Oh, we all gotta pray that I live through this. And, I was like, whoa, and it was like, well, yeah, I get mad, but I'm in a garage where there's no closing door, and there are just holes in the wall, and, there are all these things that, that they do to make me mad, and it's where I live, and just where I live, I never hurt a soul, it's just like, I can talk in my own house, okay? And so anyway, this was getting on, and it was getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And so, at one point, like about a few weeks before I left, I come out of the garage, and I, because there were no facilities in the garage, so I always had to go in that house to, like, wash my hands, go to the bathroom, little things like that. And, I came back down, and written on the side of the garage is, this garage is protected under the blood of Jesus H. Christ. And I'm like, what the fuck? And, let me just give you an idea. Like, when I was, like, my dad was Jewish, okay? And he wasn't, like, religious Jewish. But, he didn't believe there was a God, or he didn't believe that there was evidence supporting the claim that there was a God. And he, he didn't, he was proud of the Jewish culture, but he didn't participate in the religion. And one time I ran away around when I was 10 or 13 or somewhere in there, and I happened to be taken, these pastors found me. I knocked and happened to wander by a storefront church, and they realized I was lost, and so they sort of took me in, and then the pastor comes and says, you'd like me to pray over you? I said, oh, okay. He says, well, do you want to give yourself up? He whispers to me, do you want to give yourself up to Jesus Christ, or do you just want me to pray over you? I said, just pray over me. And he says, okay. So he prayed over me, and he prayed over me, and he prayed over me, and he had his hands on my shoulders, and his spittles hitting my face, and I can remember the smell of his BO, and then that was over. And tonight when I got it, it did take me home, though. I appreciate that. They did drive me home. So anyway, now I'm like, home, and I'm telling my dad what happened, and I get to the part about, do you want to give yourself up to Jesus H. Christ? And he goes, and I said no. He goes, oh. And he says, oh, thank God, David, thank God. Because, David, they've been trying to get us to do that for hundreds of years. Thank God you didn't do it. And, and I thought, well, Dad was like maybe being a little strange. But then I learned when I was in my Shakespeare class in college, and we did The Merchant of Venice, where it's all about this racism against Jews and the rights of the individual, you see. But he can only say all these radical things by having the Jew convert to Christianity at the very tail end of the whole show, right? And he had to do that, or otherwise, the people would just never have allowed it, you see. And I know that because that's what our Shakespeare professor told the entire class. So they're always been trying to make us convert, dude. So, I was like, what the fuck? She should know better as a Jew and former Jew to do this shit. So I went into the, her bathroom. She had all sorts of stuff for people to, grab or whatever. And I found a half, gallon of paint. And I took it down into the backyard, and I dipped my hand in it, and I just blotted it out with my bare hand. Dripping paint everywhere. And then, I went to the front of the house. And, I said to her, because she was sitting there watching people, because she, doesn't, didn't get around much. And, and I said, listen, what's going on between us is a legal matter. It's not a religious matter. In fact, we've never had any religious controversy at all. Why don't we just keep it that way? But if you ever put something like that on the garage again, I'm going to carve a line from the Quran somewhere in your house. And so she didn't do that again. And, it was just like, man. So then, like, a few like more days go by, and then, like, I'm sleeping, and I wake up. I don't know why. Like, something's weird. I hear something, whatever. So I take the flashlight and I go look in the backyard, and I swing the light this way and I swing the light that way. Then I hit, and right in the center, there's a landlady sitting with her cane, and she's just staring at the garage. And when the light hits her, she doesn't move, and I was like, huh, that's weird and creepy. It's the middle of the night, and she's just dragged herself out here to stare at the garage. Whatever. So then I went back in, and I went back to sleep. So, now about like 2 or 3 days before I'm supposed to leave this place, and I go and I pick up my shotgun, and it was just awesome. I mean, shooting like, the 357 Magnum was really fun, because every so often it lets out a muzzle flash, and it's just so cool, and the smoke coming out and everything. But I used to remember that, like, after that was the first gun I ever really fired that was my own, and I remember for like about 8 hours afterwards, everywhere I went, I would smell the sulfur still in my nose. Even after I showered and changed, I could still smell the sulfur, and I would be like, is it hell? Because it was almost sort of scary, the whole thing, but anyway. So anyway, with the shotgun, it's like just totally different experience, because the blast is so powerful, and you have the rack to pump, and it was just way fun, and of course I could only fire 3 shots at the time, because they had this limiter tube for bird hunting in there, and it took a while to figure out how to get that out. But it was so much fun. It was like bam, bam, there's just like something about it, man. And the guys at the gun shop even showed me how to stand, so I didn't like snap myself in two, and all sorts of things. It was pretty cool, and I was sort of grateful for that, because it was like one of the nice things that was going on. And so anyway, like, so now it's time that we're leaving. We're actually pulling out of this place. I'm actually getting myself out of there. And on the morning that I'm supposed to leave, the landlady, I knew something was up, because they were cleaning things around the house today, never cleaned all the years I was there. And so she has a party today I'm leaving. I'm not kidding. And there are balloons, there's sodas, there are chips, there's dip, there's little, streamers, and it's all taking place under the canopy I put there and paid for. And, and like, and then they all join hands and they start praying, and, it's just really great, because, this is full throttled like praying, and I've prayed before. I've been around people praying this whatever, but this was like really like dark stuff, like, the blood of Jesus, and the debts that shall be repaid, and the sinners since the this, and the sinners of that, and Mary this and Mary that. And after a while, you just feel like all these curses are being heaped. My God, this religion is so full of blood and hate, and there's blood of this and Jesus of that, and of this and of that, and it's like, fuck, man, these people are screwed up. So anyway, like, I'm trying to like get my stuff out of there, and now this dude comes, and I didn't know later, but he was the priest. Would imagine, but he didn't look. He was wearing a backpack, and he looked youngish, and I don't know. But anyway, and so he comes and he stands right in the path where I'm lugging these boxes out of the garage. He's standing right in the path and leading them in prayer about me. So I can't get by him while he's standing in the way, leading them on prayer about me. It was unbelievable. I said, could you please move? Excuse me. He just completely ignores me. I have all these boxes nearly falling, trying to get around them. And this happened twice. And then the third time, I'm not sure what happened, but there may have been an accidental shifting or stumble of some kind. He got bad and pitched forward almost. Oh, wow. So then the next time I come by, they all have him over here, to hit it, they're all touching him and securing him, and it's like, he just couldn't have moved there to begin with, these conceited fucks. So anyway, that was it's like, a priest. So anyway, so then we get all out of there, and we hop in, I hop in the car, and the her lawyer comes to give me thousands and thousands of dollars in compensation for having to move from her illegal habitat. Imagine. And you should have seen this lawyer, this white prick, older prick, he just looks, suited, whatever. He just looks like, on one hand, he can't believe that he's having to give me all this money. And the other hand, he's biting back a smile because I actually managed to get all that money. It was just such a trip. So anyway, and then we left. But anyway, it's sort of tough to describe, you know, just that she was just, she was nasty, man. And I hope someday to have, like, the ability to really describe what it was like, you know. But anyway, and so, Benelli Supernova. Star.